Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Living Inspired with Autism. I'm Antoinette. I'm a life coach and mom to my own autistic son, Max. This is the space where we come together as parents, not just to survive this journey, but to rise inside it, to become stronger and calmer and more intentional, and to build lives that feel deeply meaningful. And I am so glad you're here today. If you're anything like the parents I work with, someone, a doctor, a specialist, a well-meaning family member, maybe even a therapist, has sat across from you at some point and said some version of this. You need to manage your expectations. Don't get your hopes up. Prepare yourself for what this might look like long term. You have to accept that this is just how it's going to be. And they probably said it with kindness. They said it with care. They probably genuinely believed that they were protecting you from heartbreak. But here's something I want you to consider today. What if that advice, as well-intentioned as it was, has been stealing something from you? What if the instruction to lower your expectations has actually been lowering your capacity, your energy, your ability to show up for your child with a kind of belief that moves mountains? Today, we are talking about belief, real belief, the kind that doesn't require proof before it shows up, the kind that looks at a situation everyone else has written off and says, not yet. We're not done yet. We're talking about beliefs that are running our life right now. We're talking about beliefs that are destroying your hope without you even knowing it. And we're talking about how to build a whole new lens, a completely new way of seeing your child, your family, and what is actually possible. This one is going to shift something in you. I am certain of it. Let's go. Most of the beliefs that we carry, we didn't choose them. They were handed to us by doctors, by systems, by society, by statistics, by other people's fears. And when you receive a diagnosis for your child, the world rushes in very quickly with a whole set of beliefs it wants to hand you. Beliefs like your child's always going to struggle with this. Normal milestones aren't for children like ours. Progress is going to be slow, limited, and hard-won. You should celebrate the small things because the big things probably aren't coming. Hope is dangerous. Expectation leads to pain. Now, I just want you to sit with that for a moment. Because those beliefs, whether you consciously accepted them or not, are running somewhere in the background of your mind right now. Like a program that you didn't install, but you can't turn it off either. And here's what I know to be true about belief. It doesn't sit still. It moves, it acts, it creates. If you believe your child has a ceiling, you will unconsciously stop pushing past it. If you believe miracles don't happen for families like yours, you are going to stop looking for them. And you're going to stop creating the conditions for them. If you believe that hope is naive, you will protect yourself from it. And in doing so, you're going to protect yourself from the energy, the drive, and the fierce love that actually changes outcomes. Now, there's a framework that I use with every parent I coach, and it goes like this. Circumstances and thoughts about those circumstances lead to feelings. Those feelings create your actions, and those actions create your results. Your circumstance is the diagnosis. Maybe the therapy appointments or the school meetings or the hard days. Those are the facts. They are neutral facts. But the thought you attach to those facts, that's where everything either opens up or shuts down. If your thought is, experts have told me what's possible and I should just accept it, you are going to feel resigned. And from resignation, you take resigned actions. And from resigned actions, or no actions at all, you get resigned results. But if your thought is, the experts know statistics, they don't know my child, something different happens in you. You feel activated, determined, creative. And from that energy, you take completely different action. You ask different questions. You find different people. You try different things. You don't stop. Your beliefs are not passive. They are the engine of everything that you do. Now, I want to talk about grief for a moment, because I think this is something we don't say enough. When your child receives a diagnosis, there is often, and most times, a grief that comes with that. A grief for the picture that you had in your mind, the milestones that you imagined, the path you thought you were on. And that grief is so real. It is valid, and it deserves to be honored. But here's where so many parents get stuck. And I say this with so much compassion because I see it constantly. The grief becomes a lens, and you start looking at your child through the lens of who you thought they would be, rather than the extraordinary, complex, wildly unique person that they actually are. You start measuring their life against a version of normal that was never theirs to begin with. And the painful irony is when you look through that old lens, you miss things, real things, beautiful things, miraculous things. You miss the moment your nonverbal child communicates something profound, maybe through a look or a gesture or a piece of art that takes your breath away, because you're still grieving that they haven't spoken yet. You miss the incredible capacity your child has for depth, for pattern, for connection on their terms, because you're still measuring them against a neurotypical blueprint that was never designed for them. And I want to invite you to put down that old lens, not to deny the hard, not to pretend that challenges aren't real, but to pick up a completely different way of seeing. Because when you change the lens, something extraordinary starts to happen. You start noticing miracles. Not big, dramatic, made-for-TV miracles, although those happen too, and I have seen them. I've been in the room when parents told me stories that gave me chills, but the daily miracles, the small, sacred, stunning evidence that your child is growing, reaching, connecting, communicating in ways that are entirely their own. And I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, I was sitting in my office and Max came home and he rushed past my door, looked in, saw me, and he went, "Hello, Mama." And he's never, ever done that before. So those are the kind of miracles that happen right now, today, in your home. But you can only see them if you're looking through this new lens. So here's something that I want to try with you. I want you to finish this sentence without editing yourself. Don't think about it, just notice the first thing comes to mind. My child's future is. What did your brain offer you? Now for many autism parents, the sentence that finishes that thought could be something like, uncertain and scary, limited by what other people have told me is possible, not going to look like I hoped. Now I want you to understand something. That sentence/belief, whatever version of it lives in your mind, is not neutral. It is creating your emotional experience every single day. It is determining how much energy you bring to advocacy, how much hope you carry in therapy sessions, how much belief you hold in the room when your child needs someone to believe for them on the days that they can't believe for themselves. That belief is running your life. And here's what I need you to hear. You didn't choose it. It was given to you by systems that deal in statistics, not souls, by well-meaning people who confuse preparation for resignation. But just because you didn't choose it does not mean that you have to keep it. The moment you become aware of a belief running your life, you have power over it. You can choose a new one. Not a fake one, not some toxic positivity that your brain may reject, but something real, something that opens the possibility rather than shutting it down. Something like, I don't know what my child's future holds, and that means anything is possible. Every day, my child surprises me, and I intend to stay open to being surprised. My child is not defined by a diagnosis. They are defined by who they are becoming. Miracles don't happen on anyone else's timeline. They happen on ours. Can you feel the difference? One set of beliefs or sentences create pressure, grief, resignation, and even despair. The other creates openness, presence, possibility, and a kind of fierce, grounded hope that actually moves things forward. Now, I want to get a little practical with you because understanding this isn't enough. You need to be able to see these beliefs in action, in real time, in your own mind, before they do their damage. I call them thought destroyers. And here's what they sound like for autism parents specifically. Number one, we've already tried everything. This is one of the most common ones and most dangerous beliefs that I encounter because it feels like a fact. It feels like it's evidence, but it's not. It's a story that your exhausted brain tells you so you can stop fighting for a moment, which is completely understandable. You're tired. But tried everything so far is not the same as there is nothing left to try. The moment you believe there's nothing left, you stop looking. And the thing that might have changed everything never gets found. The second thought destroyer, other children make progress. Mine is different. Again, feels like fact. Might even have data behind it. But this belief does something insidious. It removes your child from the category of possible and puts them in the category of exception. And once they're in that category in your mind, every piece of evidence gets filtered through it. Every hard day becomes proof. Every day becomes a good day becomes a fluke. Your child is not an exception to what's possible. They are on their own path, at their pace. And paths have a way of arriving somewhere beautiful when you don't abandon them. Another thought destroyer, hoping too much will just hurt me more. And this one breaks my heart the most because I understand it so deeply. Hope is vulnerable. Hope requires you to risk something. And you've already been hurt so many times. But I want you to consider this. The alternative isn't safety. The alternative to hope isn't protection from pain. It's a life lived at half capacity. It's showing up for your child with your arms partly open, holding back the full force of your belief because you're afraid of what happens if it doesn't come true. Your child doesn't need you at half capacity. They need all of you. And remember, miracles require belief, not as a spiritual platitude, as a practical reality, because belief drives action, and sustained, creative, relentless action is what creates the conditions for things to change. Another thought destroyer: normal isn't available for us. Now, this is perhaps the most important belief to examine, because it depends entirely how you define normal. If normal means neurotypical milestones achieved on a neurotypical timeline in neurotypical ways, then no, that might not be your story. But if normal means a full life, a connected life, a life filled with love and purpose and growth and joy and contribution, then I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely available in forms you might not even have imagined yet, in ways that will redefine what you thought a beautiful life looked like. The parents who find that life are the ones who throw the old definition of normal and decide to write a whole new one. So how do you actually do this? How do you take a mind that's been conditioned by years of difficult news and hard experiences and genuinely shift it toward belief? Here's a practice that I want to give you. It's simple. It requires no equipment, no money, no perfect circumstances. It just requires your willingness to try. Every single day, I want you to ask yourself one powerful question, and I want you to answer it. Not with the first thing that your fearful brain offers you, but with intention, with a part of you that showed up today, that never stopped fighting, that's listening to this right now because you refuse to give up. Here are questions that I want you to rotate through. Where did my child surprise me today? Because this directs your brain to go looking for evidence of what's working. And your brain, this magnificent, trainable organ, will find what you tend it to look for. If you tend it to look for limitations, it will find limitations. If you tend it to look for miracles, small daily miracles, it will find those instead. What do I want to believe is possible for my child that I haven't let myself believe yet? Sit with this one. Write it down. Don't edit it. Let the answer come from the part of you that loves your child without conditions, or caveats, or statistics attached. What belief would give me the most energy to show up fully today? Because energy matters, your energy matters, your presence matters. Your belief doesn't just affect your internal experience, it affects your child. It affects the room, it affects the interaction, every appointment, every conversation you have on their behalf. You showing up full of belief is not naive. It is the most powerful thing that you can offer. What miracle have I been looking past this week? And then look, really look. The eye contact held for just a second longer than yesterday. The sound that they make that almost sounded like a word. The way they reached for your hand or leaned into you. The thing that they did that made everyone in the room just stop and go quiet. Those are not small things. Those are miracles. And they are happening in your home, in your life, with your child right now. Start seeing them. Start recording them. Start building this body of evidence that tells your brain something is happening here. Something is growing. Something is possible here. Because the brain that is looking for evidence of miracles will find them. And the brain that is braced for disappointment will also find that too. You get to choose which brain you train. You are allowed to believe. You are allowed to hope with your whole heart. You are allowed to look at your child and think, I don't know what the ceiling is here, and I'm not going to even assume that there is one. You are not being naive. You are not setting yourself up for failure. You are not in denial about the real challenges that your family faces. You are choosing consciously, deliberately, powerfully to be the person in your child's life who never stopped believing in. And do you know how rare that is? Do you understand how much that matters? Children, all children, become, in part, who the people around them believe they can be. The belief that you hold for your child when they cannot hold it for themselves is not a small thing. It is one of the most powerful gifts one human being can give to another. So yes, believe. Believe loudly, believe consistently. Believe on hard days when the evidence doesn't show up and the appointments are discouraging and the world keeps handing you its statistics. Believe anyway. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring reality. You understand something that statistics will never capture. Your child is not a statistic. They are a person, a whole, complex, extraordinary person. And people have a way of defying what everyone else decided was possible for them. When someone loves them well enough to keep believing, be that person. Okay, so I want to close with this. The miracle that you are waiting for, in some form, is already happening. It's happening in the slow, invisible accumulation of the therapy that you're doing. Every intentional moment, every time you speak up for your child, every morning you showed up even when you were exhausted and uncertain and afraid. It's happening in your child who is growing and reaching and becoming at their own pace, in their own way, on their own remarkable timeline. And it's happening in you, in the parent you are becoming through this experience. The capacity that you're building, the strength that you didn't know you had until it was required of you. The old lens will tell you this. This is too hard, too slow, and too uncertain. The new lens will show you, I am witnessing something extraordinary right here, right now. In this imperfect, beautiful, ordinary life. The miracle isn't coming, it is here. And it starts with what you choose to believe. Okay, so before I let you go today, I just want to share something with you because I know that some of you are listening to this and it has changed your perspective. Something in you has said yes. And I know this is true. I know I need this. I know there is more available to me than I've been allowing myself to believe. And some of you have been doing this alone for a long time, carrying the weight of the hard days, sitting with uncertainty, trying to hold the belief together in a world that just keeps handing us reasons just to let go. And I want you to know, you don't need to do this alone. I work one-on-one with parents of autistic children, and what we do together is exactly what we talked about today. We go into the beliefs that are running your life. We find the ones that are destroying your hope and your energy. We build new ones, real, grounded, powerful ones that you can actually feel in your body. And we create a completely different experience on this journey. Not by changing your circumstances, but by changing the lens and the way you think and the way you see. The parents I've worked with have described it as the first time in years that they felt themselves again. The first time that they felt genuinely hopeful rather than bracing for disappointment. The first time that they've showed up to their child's meetings feeling powerful rather than overwhelmed. That is what's available to you. If you are ready, if something in you is saying yes, this is the conversation I need. I want to invite you to book a complimentary consult call with me. It's not a sales call, it's a conversation, a real conversation, a coaching conversation where we look at where you are right now, what beliefs are running in the background, and what could genuinely shift if you had real support. You can find the link in the show notes, and it just takes a couple of minutes to book. And if you're on the fence, if you're thinking, I'd love to, but I don't know if now is the right time, I want you to hear this. The parents who have the most profound breakthroughs are the ones who were the most tired, most exhausted, most certain that they'd already tried everything. If that's you, especially if that's you, please reach out, because you've been showing up for your child every single day, and it's time someone showed up for you. Book your call. The link is in the show notes, and I cannot wait to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here. Now, if this episode shifted something for you or spoke to you, please share it with another autism parent who needs to hear it. Please leave a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. It genuinely helps this message reach the families who need it most. Until next time, keep believing, keep looking for the miracles. They are there. All right, my friends, I will see you next week.